It's no secret, Breath of the Wild changed the paradigm of what a Zelda game could be. It was a very appealing game with the open world nature, changing some aesthetics that have defined Zelda for years, selling around 10 million and boosting the relevancy of 3D Zelda after the shortcomings of Skyward Sword. Eiji Aonuma emphasized the incredible freedom that this game offers you and how well it's been received to him. It means that freedom, that level of freedom is starting to mean something. It needs to be maintained in future Zelda games going forward, as quoted by him. The emphasis on the quote is how well it has been received. Breath of the Wild was a talk of the gaming world, winning many Game of the Year awards, so it's safe to assume the next 3D Zelda will have the aesthetics that worked from Breath of the Wild, meaning another grand open world adventure. If that is the next Zelda game, will we have to wait 3 to 5 years for the next installment? Will they bring back key aesthetics of the Zelda franchise to the next game? Since the launch of Ocarina of Time 20 years ago, we've had 3D lines of Zelda being released with 2D style Zelda, leading to the franchise having mostly annual releases. Breath of the Wild did many things well, but took away aspects that made longtime Zelda fans pause. Full-fledged dungeons are what define Zelda, making it a more linear experience. Nintendo is likely thinking having a 2D Zelda game that is linear will not appeal to the masses like Breath of the Wild has, but Zelda games have sold very well, including the 2D ones in the 21st century, so why not go back to having a 2D style Zelda game? Link Between Worlds was the last 2D adventure release, which was a reimagining of A Link to the Past. This game was fantastic and embodies the traits of a Zelda game. This game demonstrates why Nintendo cannot abandon 2D style Zelda, which might I add also nearly sold 3 million for the 3DS. Each Zelda game has an intriguing gimmick that defines the nature of the game and its gameplay mechanic. So for example, Ocarina of Time had time travel, Majora's Mask had the power of the masks, 4 Sword Adventures with 4 links, and etc. Link Between Worlds had a very fascinating mechanic that made the game stand out. The mechanic to travel as a painting, similar in veins to what Super Paper Mario did for the Paper Mario franchise, flipping from 2D to 3D. This game breaks the stigma that Zelda is a completely linear experience with little wiggle room. This game is segmented into 2 parts, essentially like Link to the Past, where there is a Hyrule and a Lorule. In Hyrule, there are 3 dungeons, and after the first dungeon, you can do the next 2 in any order. When you reach Lorule, you can do those dungeons mostly in any order. The desert one can only be done after the Thieves' Hangout. This was a great feeling. I wasn't tied to some preconceived notion. I can go in the order that I felt like, and nothing can stop me. You hear me, Skyward Sword? Nothing! Another strength that this reminded me of was that there is no long tutorial section. It's quick to the point of the story and you move on your adventure. The cinematics were left at the door as they were not heavily implemented like in Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess. I can also appreciate the dungeons not having to take an hour each. They are an ideal length for a 2D style Zelda. That's what I love about 2D Zelda. They are a casual experience. What I mean is that they are an easy to pick up and play for a quick burst type of game. My main point of this video is that 2D Zelda and 3D Zelda have different aesthetics. More than just a view of the game or the graphics. The dungeons are catered for their style. You can't copy and paste a 2D style Zelda dungeon into a 3D one and vice versa. There are different experiences like in the veins of Metroid and Metroid Prime, which is why Nintendo cannot abandon 2D Zelda for the Switch. We need both. Link Between Worlds was a reminder of that to myself, seeing how great of an experience I had playing through it, and it reminded me of the fond times I had playing through Minish Cap, the Oracle games, and Link's Awakening. Yes, there's a reason I left off Phantom Hourglass. So let me know if you agree with this stance. Do you feel 2D Zelda and 3D Zelda are different enough of games to justify having both for the Switch? And do you think they will make a 2D Zelda for the Switch? Looking forward to reading your comments. Thanks for watching.